Alright guys, and welcome back to your boy Centel NBA Live Bolton. Quick news guys, y'all probably already heard they're supposed to be making a new Silent Hill game. Now it says in addition to a brand new Silent Hill game, a Silent Hill 2 remake is possibly one more Silent Hill game in development. So, I hear other YouTubers, give it crap. Spawnware, Spawn Wave? I said Spawnware, I mean Spawn Wave. And I like RGT. Is it RGT 85, I think? But Spunwave was talking about the Blooper team, and he had did a video earlier, and he was talking about, I don't know why everybody's giving the Blooper team. I mean, let's take a look at the stuff that Blooper team did. I mean, they've done stuff like the Medium, which I love that game. I thought that game was awesome. They have the Observer, Blair Witch Project. You know what I'm saying? Layers of Fear 1 and 2. I mean, they've had some success. I guess it's on a small scale. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, Konami. I say Konami. I call it Konami. It's Konami. Konami. Konami has games. They have. Don't get me wrong. They're a juggernaut when it comes to like making hard games and other games. But they had all success in their games, man. I mean, just give the smaller developers a chance. Konami had like the Grinch, that wasn't so good. The Castlevania Judgment wasn't good, and the Metal Gear Survive in 2018 wasn't that good. And then they had the Frogger, the Great Quest back in 2001. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are a juggernaut when it comes to games in general. Overall, they have done pretty good with games. And it's one of them things where man, just give this team Blooper. Like I said, Blooper team has about 40 to 50 employees. Way smaller team, a production team online than Konami. We know than Konami. And so all I have to say for the small developers, they're putting in work. Those guys seem like they're putting in pretty good work. And now they're Polish. Now they're out of Poland or whatever. And so guys, I want everybody to know that, like, I don't know, I mean everybody slept on the Medium as far as I can understand, because the Medium was like one of those games where people gave it crap, but the people that gave it crap really didn't play it. They just seen it and just heard what they heard. I mean, I haven't had one of my friends or anybody tell me that they played the Medium. But then I hear people say, oh, it was crap. But then I asked them how they played it, and they go, nah, I haven't played it. Well, man, play the game. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like Madden football. Since Madden is the only football game, people going back to old games and playing like, NFL 2K5 and other games, what was that? It was like the Flutie. What was that? Doug Flutie. It was like Maximum Flutie or something. It was like the football that my buddy TB Wells played. It's like one of them things where, a smaller scale, yeah, it's gonna have its flaws, just like the big, companies have their flaws. But I just gotta, just say, man, just give those guys a chance on Blooper team. And it ain't like they came out with crap. They done had like some good actual games. Even the Observer. You know what I'm saying? It was a good game. I played that, and it was a real good game. And so Blair Witch Project, I didn't play, but it looked good actually. And I mean, I'm just saying, like, for what it's worth, just give something a chance. The small production team, at one time, Konami, way back in the day, it was a small developer, so they got their foot wet when it was a time of adolescence and gaming, though. They got a up on the Blooper team and small developers or whatever. And that's the thing, man. That's with anything. That's like music. It was easier to get into music at a certain point. At one point you had to be talented. If you didn't get into the rap game around the early 2000s, mid 2000s, and then it was one of those things where it was like a hit and miss. And now the internet is like, you can put your stuff on the internet and you can get seen by the right person, and then you can flourish out to something great. But it was a time where they had these games and we would just know certain developers, and we just Working Designs or Konami or any of these big juggernaut companies, they did a game and it was supposed to be like, I done had some games from, what I'm saying, those games is, I've liked this one game company, I don't know, the Ninja Turtles, man, on the NES, on the Nintendo system. Was it Ultra Soft, or it was some of those that had some good games, man. You know what I'm saying? And it was just one of those things where, you know, play the game, give the game a chance. You know what I'm saying? And so just, you know, y'all give it. People that are watching this video, or if you see my content, give the medium a chance. So play the Observer, or play those games like Blair Witch Project. You know, look at some games that Blooper have did and then play them. And you know, and he was like, well, you know, the Blooper team did this and did that. Man, I think the Blooper team would do a great job making a new Silent Hill, like a Silent Hill 2. Well, I want a brand new Silent Hill game, but, and that's another thing I got a gripe with too. You know, Xbox, you know, they don't do like, well, I guess they do games, but I want like a physical copy, man. The game, what is this? IKAI is Akaya, whatever that game. It's like they have a physical version on the PS4 and the Switch and other, you know, games. But as far as like the Xbox Series S or the Series X or the Xbox One, it's digital only. I've noticed a lot of other games like that, kind of like that Fatal Frame game that I bought for the Xbox, but it was only like digital. But for some reason, the PlayStation, you know, I guess Sony got a little pull with, you know, like the Japanese type games that people actually play a lot of. They're like, oh, you know, we're gonna drop it on Sony. Not so much Xbox. You know what I'm saying? But that's another gripe I have. That's for a whole nother video. But y'all stop like shitting on the small man, and like let them do their thing when it comes to making games. You know, and everybody has their opinion on games. It's like the eye. You know, it's like the eye of that person looking at a game. Like, what are you looking for in a game? We're looking for a good storyline. We're looking for gameplay. You know, in horror games, you got third persons, you got the first person. I mean, you got like the click and play. Like pretty much the medium is a great story, y'all. I'm gonna do a story on that actually. And so it's a good story, good fluid movement. It's like a 30 frames per second game. It's like one of those games where you sit down, and it's like one of those. It's a hard game where you just zone out, you know. And I recommend you play the game with some headphones or a nice surround sound. It's one of those games where you hear voices in the back, and then the gameplay, and then it's like putting together puzzles. It's kind of like a lot of walking around, finding clues, and just kind of like some stuff you don't need, but it's just like the whole experience, man. You know, I just take it in for what it is, man. Like, when you look at a game and you play it, you hear about it, those are the games that I like to play the most. The games that I hear less about. The games that I hear more about, it's like, I played a lot of those games, and then it wasn't so hot like everybody made it out to be. It was good, but it wasn't like on the scale where it's like, oh, this is good, best game I ever played. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, as far as people that play RPGs, I guess I'm not an RPG head, but you know, people always say Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, two of the best Final Fantasy of all time. I don't know, but I know some of the hard games that people talk about that was crap, that was trash, and that was good. It's like the total opposite for me. Like Resident Evil 2 was amazing. You know what I'm saying? Resident Evil 2 on the Dreamcast I played numerous of times. You know, the medium that I've played numerous of times, man. And just other hard games that I played, like Silent Hill 2, man, on the original Xbox. That game is awesome, man. I love that game. And you know, the remake of actually Resident Evil 2 was actually real good. And I haven't even played the Nemesis remake, actually. Like, I ain't been too long, beat the second one, the remake on the Xbox or whatever. But yeah, man, they got games now, and it's like, you know, if I play a game, oh, this game is good, this game is good. But people just go to here, and like, it's just like the Resident Evil 4, the Silent Hill 4 on the original Xbox. I had that game. I haven't even played that game all the way through yet. And so I can't know, you know, what I played so far. It's decent, you know what I'm saying? It's not the best of the best, but it's like one of them games like, okay, you know, it's pretty good. And so just give the game a chance, man. That's anything that you into, whether you into sports games, RPGs, JRPGs, whether you into like any type of games, man. First person shooters, I mean story driven games, point click play games like the old Myst or any game. Like, just give it a chance, man. It's like, you can't look at somebody. I hate when people go in a game store and they get their opinion, and then it's like, ooh, you just deter this person from playing that game just because you didn't like it. And some people, a lot of people are followers, man. I've never been a follower. If I like something and I think I like it, I've you know, we're in a new generation, so I've came to this thing where I hate that I do it now, but I catch myself doing it. I'll go to YouTube and I'll look at gameplay. And see, back in the days, we didn't really have YouTube to look at gameplay. You either got it from a magazine or you heard it from word of mouth. But then, you know, it was one of them games where you kind of grew up playing. It's not that you really wanted to play that game. You just got so used to playing it. It was like one of the only games you played. So you actually got good at that game, and then you played through that game, and you played it a bunch of times, so you knew all the ins and outs of the game. And it was like, oh, and some of those games are nostalgic. Like, oh, that was a pretty good game. Some games you go back, you be like, oh, that game sucked. It sucked then. It sucked back then. Now it sucks. It sucks now too. But you know, guys, just leave y'all comments down below, man. You know, the games that you played and people gave it crap, and it turned out to be an actual good game. That's a lot of games like that, man, that I played on the Xbox 360, the original Xbox, even on my PS Vita lately. I've been playing some games, some gems on that PS Vita. Not the PS Vita. I said the PS Vita. I mean the PSP. Just the regular PSP, man. Ooh, that Silent Hill on the PSP. Oh yeah, that Shattered Memories. You know, I think they got on the PS2, but the PSP, I guess it's pretty much the same game, but I haven't played on the PS2. But the PSP version, game's tight right there. Alright, y'all leave y'all comments down below. It's your boy, Sentel, NBA Live Bolton, and I will be back at you with another video pretty soon. Later, doggy dog.